The architect of KRS Dam, the man who engineered the automatic locking systems for gates, the sandal oil factory, the soap factory, the metal factory, and so much more. The list is endless. All the engineering marvels that he has brought into life is a perfect marriage of procedure and creativity. He is none other than our own Sir M. Visveswaraiah or Sir MV. Every year, September 15th is celebrated as Engineers Day in India in his memory. And this is my humble attempt to pay a tribute to him with my speech. He says, remember, your work may be just to sweep the railway crossings, but your duty is to make the crossing so clean that no other crossing in the world is as clean as yours. This obsession for perfection was the key quality of Sir MV. He had to make a lot of speeches. Due to his wisdom, experience, people always wanted to hear from him. But whenever he wanted to give a speech, he used to think about what he needs to say, write it, type it, weigh each and every word in it, revise it 4 to 5 times until he gets a final shape out of it. And then he used to deliver his speech. An anecdote to relate to this. Once he visited a school in his village, Muddenahalli. There he gave ₹10 to the teacher and he asked him to distribute sweets. And in the written, the teacher asked him to say few words to the students. He went ahead, he spoke for 5 minutes, but when he was back at home, he was very disappointed and unhappy that he couldn't prepare his speech. So after few days, he was back again in the same school. He distributed sweets and gave his speech again. So this was the level of perfection he maintained. And as an engineer, I feel that is the first quality that we need to take from his personal life. Moving forward, he was a fearless and selfless patriot with spotless honesty. When he became the Diwan of Mysore, the Maharaja's secretary spoke to Maharaja saying that we need to give a salary rise to him without actually consulting Sir MV for it. When Sir MV got to know this, he wrote a letter personally to the Maharaja saying that he doesn't want the rise. Following, back those days, Europeans were the lord in our country. They were treated as God. In the Maharaja's Darbar in Dasara, Europeans were made to sit in comfortable chairs, whereas Indians were made to sit on floor. In 1910, when Sir MV first visited Maharaja's Darbar, this arrangement pained him a lot. The next year, he didn't attend the Darbar. When Maharaja sent his men to him to inquire the reason for his absence, he was very frank. So this was the spotless honesty that he showed. Following that year, all the other Maharaja's Darbar were made so that all the Indians and Europeans sit on chair. And also another such example and anecdote is, once one of the British officers wrote a letter to him saying that he needs cushion to rest his feet in his chair because the chair is a bit tall for him. For that, Sir MV shortened the legs of the chair and he replied by saying, now it is fit for you. So this was the spotless honesty and the fearless and selfless patriot that Sir MV was. The famous words of his is industrialize and perish. He valued merit. I want to share one anecdote that Sir MV used to share with all his students to impress them to use their intelligence. The anecdote goes something like this. Back then, in those days, aeroplane was a wonder. Once what happened is, a plane had to crash land in a farmer's field unexpectedly, and the pilot had to request the farmer that to take care of the aeroplane until he comes back with some spare parts and mechanic. The farmer quickly went to the publisher, the printing press of his village. he got pamphlets printed and spread across the village, saying that he has the giant metal bird in his land, in his field, and anybody who wants to see the aeroplane needs to pay some fee and come and see it.
Wow.
By the time the pilot was back with his mechanic, this farmer had made thousands of rupees. So this is the anecdote that he used to share to encourage the students to use their intelligence. Following the discipline and hard work that he had in his life, he was never late by a minute, or he never wasted a minute in his life. And he was always keen on learning new things. At the age of 95, once his relative was planning to visit Madras, and before leaving he asked him what he wants when he comes back from Madras, what he wants from Madras, for which Sir M.V. told that he wants a new modern English dictionary, and this was at the age of 95. So that was the level of hard work he showed. The discipline. He was always immaculately dressed. Even after sharing a very good rapport with Gandhiji, once he had written to Gandhiji to dress well, to dress better for the upcoming round table conference. And one last thing that we can follow from his life, the value of education that he used to give in his life. When he was Diwan in Mysore, just in 6 years, he had encouraged people to build 6,500 schools, just in 6 years. A last anecdote that I want to share, from which we can get a good understanding is, once there was a flood in Bhadra river, and Bhadravati steel plant was supposed to be closed for a few days. And again it came to Sir M.V.'s lot to fix this issue. When he went there and he inquired, back then the general manager was an American, and he said that for 6 months we can't reopen it. When Sir M.V. insisted that it has to be done early, he didn't agree. He was very stubborn. Sir M.V. removed him from his post, and later he got it reopened in just few days. And later he realized that the problem in that was that there were only Americans working in that steel plant, and they were not willing to work for India with their full interest. So that's the reason why he went back to Mysore, trained a set of Mysoreans. He replaced all the Americans with the Europeans. So a last quote that I want to share is, we are limited not by our abilities but by our vision. And fortunately, Visveswaraiah was in abundance of both of them. Thank you.